We are at 5.8 million views today. We went up 17,000 tonight. This is show number 146, and I've got like 7 more to do to make it to 150, I think, or whatever it is.
Okay.
We've been doing good. I think we're the #1 media site in the world right now. I don't see anybody else doing anything. They didn't know what was coming. I had been preparing for this since 2018, so we were really, really well positioned on stuff.
Beautiful.
Let me start this real quick. Hey, it's Brian Sebastian, Moviereviewsnmore, the Women's Broadcast TV Network, now known as Worldwide TV Network, iTube 247 out of Franklin, Tennessee, and WomenOnTV.tv. And I've got to welcome this young man because I have a feeling, and he may not remember, I have a feeling that I interviewed him for Final Destination 3 when I first started. I was there back in the day. All those junkets at the Four Seasons, through almost everything that New Line put out back in that point. I was there when the first Bold and Beautiful came out before he was there. And he ends up on that show, which is very interesting. And Bruce, I've always liked Bruce Willis. So here's a guy who's been in, I don't think anybody's been in more Bruce Willis films than you. So with the latest one being Hard Kill. So what is it? We got to start off with Bruce. I've always liked Bruce going back to Die Hard. He's always given me great interviews throughout the years. What is it with Bruce? What is he, he's taking you underneath his wing or something?
Man, you know what? I remember when I first worked with Bruce Willis, man, first off, what a great guy. You know, like you wouldn't, you know, someone who has been blockbuster for over 30 years and who is a super A-lister, you don't know what to expect when you go on set. You know what I mean? But you respect the craft and the grind that they did. So, you know, when doing the first one with him, I believe it was Marauders I didn't have any scenes with him during that movie, but I was blessed enough. The producers trusted me, man, because, you know, it's Bruce Willis and you got to come correct with, you know, you got to be ready and prepared and go to work, man. He's in and out, you know what I mean? So when I got the opportunity finally to shoot 10 Minutes Gone with him, that's when I had my chunk of scenes with him. I mean, it was just me and him, brother. And you talk about an experience, you know, you get nervous, you get the little butterflies here and there, but at the end of the day, you got to do a job. So that was my first experience with him. And I think he just, he's comfortable with me. Like they pitch my name to him and he's automatically like, yes, no problem. Like bring Texas on board. So that's good, man. I'm glad that he recognizes, you know, young talent trying to come up and make it in this industry like himself. And I've just been blessed with that, man.
I never got a chance to ask you this. Are you the only person of color who's got your name?
You know what? I am the only person, I love that question, by the way. Yes, I am the only person of color, but not only color, I am the only true Texas Quincy with the E battle. There's only one, there's no mistaking, it's me.
I thought about that. I'm like, he's got to be the only one.
Yes.
Because, and I thought about, I know I've interviewed him before. And then I'm like, he had to be, had been at the press junket for Final Destination because we were there first 3. And I remember that. So if you remember that, I'm the only black guy in a radio room at that point, at the Four Seasons, because that's where it was held.
Yes. You know what? I love the fact.
And you would have been sitting next to me because talent always sat next to me. Even when he came into the room, he always sat next to me.
Right. Brother, you've been doing this for a long time, man. It's good. And I'm proud of how then, because you bring up Final Destination 3, you bring up so many great memories. And I love those freaking guests, those suites, those gift suites. Oh, they're wonderful, right? And New Line, you're right. They rolled out the red carpet for that franchise. And that was only my second studio film at that time. So I was still getting my feet a little wet and, you know, learning the business and getting better and better as I progressed. But man, did we have fun back in those days.
Yes, we can't do that anymore. And I was telling people, prepare yourself. I've been saying this since October 3rd of 2018. Prepare yourself. There's a new world coming. Telecommunication is going to be this. Cleaning supplies are going to be what it's at. I had my own hand sanitizer 4 years ago that I chose as my sponsor. The Lipton hand sanitizer. I had this small little kit called the restroom kit, where you take it on planes, trains, automobiles. It's got the small little wipes. It's got the little tissue paper in it. It's called the restroom kit. They've been with me for 3.5 years. I flew
Wow.
them to Tennessee and put them on our shows. Two of the shows I put them on, 1.7 million views and counting still, with no.
Wow.
So the things that I found, the technology I found is always good. And I've always been a movie whore. I've always said I was always going to outlast all of our junketeer friends, all of our people, and we have. And from where we are right now, like I said, 5.8 million views a day and counting. By the end of
Wow.
September, we could be at 8. We will only be by December 31st, we will have 10 million views. These are views. These aren't followers, subscribers, or likes. And I always tell people, you can always unlike someone, you can always unsubscribe to someone, you can always unfollow people, but you can't unview a view. That's what makes Movie Reviews and More and the team of 13 girls that I have, all co-hosts. I'm most proud of them because now they're starting to have their own views. I said, if you only got 18,000 followers, but you got 3 million views, what number is higher, right?
The views, right?
Yes, and it's not about that. So it's about the body of work, and someone who's done the body of work like yourself. That's a huge thing to do because people forget where you started sometimes, what you've done in the middle, and where you're going.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
Did you ever think that you were going to be where you are now? Did you ever think to establish a relationship with Bruce Willis? Did you ever think you were bold and beautiful? Come on, right?
You know what? No, and no. I got into this business. I didn't, you know what? The Coach Carter job, I thought I was auditioning for a basketball commercial for Carmelo Anthony. That's what they were telling us. And it just ended up, they start cutting down and down and down. And next thing you know, there's 20 basketball guys. And then the next day I get a call from casting. They say, hey, go take this sheet in and you're going to go down over towards Paramount and you're going to read these sides. Brother, I didn't even know what sides were. So I took the sheet. I went over there. I didn't memorize anything. And then I did the audition. And then, come to find out, I'm at Sony, at Sony studio lot and sitting down at a table read. And guess who walks in? Samuel Jackson with the rest of the cast. And I'm tripping out. I'm like, what? First time I met Sam, I don't know what it was. That's when I knew it was a movie. And you know what? That's when I got the acting bug, man. I took that. I wanted to learn more. Till this day, Sam's been my mentor since 2004, 2005. And I talk to him at least once or twice a month. He showed me the way, showed me take this business serious. You never know what your next job's going to be. And don't take it for granted, especially, with us of color. And I did that. And then, like you said, the Coach Carters didn't find Destination 3s, and then you get the Wrong Turn 2s. And then next thing you know, 2008 happened. And remember, everything shut down. The only thing that was going on was soaps. And I was always told that if you do a soap, that's a career ending. Like it's death to your career. There was nothing going on though, brother. So what am I supposed to do? They're calling me. They want to meet me. I'm new. I'm fresh. I go in. I meet with Brad Bell. We have a conversation. And then the next thing you know, I'm the first African-American on The Bold and Beautiful with a main story. Like I am in the family of the Forresters and the Logans. It's never been done. And I didn't know how big that was until after I was on the show for like a year. But that's a big thing for us, man. And I'm proud. I was on the show for 6 years. I loved every minute of it. And it made me stronger as an actor because of the tons of material that you have to read. So to answer those questions, man, no, I didn't know it was going to be that. I didn't know it was going to be this. I didn't know about being on the #1 soap opera in the world. And I'm still ticking, man. I'm still going. Like I'm still grinding. I'm still, I still want it. I still have that hunger, that desire to take it to the next level. You know what I mean? I never want to be an A-lister though. Honestly, these guys have pressure. Those A-listers have a lot of pressure. They got to bring in dollars. I don't want to be that guy, but I do want to be the guy who you see on TV and you go, dang, he's in everything. Like, I want to be that person,
Well, you're on the right track for all of that stuff because, again, I did the junket for Coach Carter. Samuel Jackson said this we were in the radio room. Radio room, if you remember, we had the air conditioning turned off. We took the water container away. We gave you a bottle because we didn't want people chewing on ice. We needed clean sound of our stuff. So I think of Bruce Willis coming in with a movie that he did. I think it was What Lies Beneath. I think it was what it was. Michelle Pfeiffer was in it. He gave best reviews, and I told him to come in, and he came in. He wasn't supposed to come to our room. And I grabbed him and he came in. And I never got that because he was just so dominant and it was great. And you're sitting down across the table talking to Bruce for 20 minutes. And we weren't supposed to have him. And you're like, you get that. So those are power moves at those things. And I think about Samuel Jackson, what he said. He goes, I will read anything. I don't care if my gardener gives me a script, I will read it. And the reason why he said that, and I'm not an actor, I will never be an actor, that's not my thing. My thing is to do interviews and watch TV and movies and things like that, and to help get those promotional things going for all those people around the world.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
My number one thing is. And it was one of those things where I never forgot that he said that. I will read anything, including if it comes to my gardeners. And I always told Kevin Bacon this. Kevin, I'm more 6 degrees in separation than you are because I've done all these things, including on the adult side. And he just busted up and started laughing. But Samuel Jackson is the true 6 degrees of separation because how many films he's done and how many people have been in all his films. And he's still working, right?
Still on top of the game, man. Like one of the hugest names in the show business. Like, and this guy's work ethic is just so amazing and dominant. I asked Sam one time, I said, hey, so where are you going after this one? Like he said, I said, you gonna take a break? He said, break? Sleep. He said, man, I can take a break and sleep when I'm dead.
He always said this. He always says, while I'm working, I have my next film lined up and I'm getting ready to read the following script because his thing, and he acknowledges, and this is the same interview, he says, I'm afraid that I might never work again. I never forgot that Samuel Jackson said this. Here's a guy, and Seth MacFarlane would say this, he's the black guy that's in every movie. It's true, you know, and that's a compliment coming from Seth MacFarlane from Family Guy, but it was, you know, he's the guy that's in every movie. And most actors are like this. There's the fear of never being able to work again. But on Sam's side, he's in every 6 different things. So kudos goes off to him because again, it's not an easy business, as you would say. I don't know what it's like to be that actor, but I do like to sit down and talk with them for a good film, a bad film, whether you like the TV show or whatever. But also, if you're in those soaps, you will always be recognized no matter where you go. Some fan has seen that show, and that's amazing.
100%. Everywhere I go, people, it's like a toss up, man. It's like people notice me off a boat a lot, but they also notice me like off the studio films I did, like a Coach Carter or Final Destination 3. It's the ones that you do that you don't know what it's going to do on screen. Like, because we don't know, like, right, especially during this time, we don't know. There's no movie theaters opening. Like, they're slowly starting to, but right now there's no blockbusters in theaters or to that nature. So when it streams, like you just said, you're hoping for the views. You're hoping that people tune in, watch, click on it, and so forth. And that's what I need more to happen, is those movies that I'm in to be able to get viewed with the Bruce Willises, and hopefully people notice me more and go, hey, you know what? Like, who was that guy that don't know my name, right? Who was that guy that was with Bruce Willis? Like, he held his own. He was great. And then they start doing their homework, and that's when you get calls. You're absolutely right, man. I cherish those moments that I work, because you never know when it's going to be your last job. So, and
you know, and the fun thing about that is, you know, my friends, we ran the gifting suites. We've changed it around. I know exactly how to do them now. We're going to be, you know, because I again, going back to October 3rd, 2018, I knew this virus was coming. I just didn't know what the name of it was going to be. I know it's here for another 5 years. I've always been on record for this. I chose Biden and Kamala Harris in May of 2018. I just had to wait for the official thing. So my vision has always been spot on. I can tell you between now and the end of the year, I'm going to have 850 million views between now and the year with all the platforms that I'm on in Corbett. Like I said, when we started this, April 4th, I'm not a Zoom fan. I'm not a Skype person.
Right, me either.
I had to get prepared to do the next best thing was this. I'm on show 147 today, like today, but 5.8 million views, 17,000 views last night. We went up 3.7 out of Tennessee alone. So, and 1 million views on our YouTube. So again, if you're not working it and you're out there playing around or playing golf, I'm inside doing my interviews. I got one more interview today. I did 3 today. 2 tomorrow. I did 5 yesterday. You put up,
Wow.
imagine what I've been doing. No one else has been doing what we've been doing in the world. So the reason I wanted you on, I said, April, I got to have him on because, hey, why I've got the time, let me get all this stuff out, because when I start airing all this stuff, everybody's starting to come now.
Yes.
Like I said, this is week 19 for me that I've been inside doing all this stuff. I pretty much
Yes.
locked down in Vegas since February 25th, which is a Tuesday. The reason I remember that, because Sergio Mendes, who brought Brazilian music into the U.S., I interviewed him at the Grammy Museum. 10 after 9, I walk out that Tuesday night. That was the last Lakers game. This is right before the Lakers let out the Staples Center. And NBA called their season that night. Major League Baseball canceled their season. And NHL had called it. As I'm getting ready to go back to the Megabus, because I have this Lumo, Segway Lumo, it's AI technology. I can't fly with it. So I'm around the city with it all the time. I'm like, this is it. This is what I've been preparing for. And then had been locked down ever since.
Yeah?
Yeah, I'm still in Vegas at the house.
Wow.
Yeah, I've been doing this every single day. I can tell you how many days I've had it, but I can tell you how many views. Because when I left Los Angeles, I only had 4.1 million views. I'm at 5.8 right now.
Wait, you're based in Vegas now?
I do Vegas, Los Angeles, Tennessee, Franklin, Tennessee, and then, my mom lives in Georgia. So I had places where I can take 2 of my co-hosts with me on the road, do our show, set up our cameras, and we still have views no matter where.
Right.
So that's where we are now. While everything was down, I was still rolling. I haven't nothing. So you can imagine when I say I'm going to have 850 million views coming, I'm going to have 850 views. No one else in the world is going to have that.
Period. I love.
By the time April 2nd comes around, 2021, I'll have 20 to 25 million views just on the platform. But overall, I'll have 850 million, if that makes sense. That makes sense. iTunes, iHeart. None of those people are doing anything. My numbers beat theirs. They're inconsistent. They don't have anything. They're working from home. I'm doing it like this. I already had them. I went out and got them a different way.
Right. No, you got to go, man. I understand that. That 110%, especially in this time now, because we're just starting now. I think that SAG and the producers have agreed with the whole safety protocols and putting them in place. I think production are going to start going, end of August, I would like to say. Bold actually just started maybe a couple of weeks ago. And it looks funny now, some of the things that's been airing is that, they're kind of far apart in certain scenes. I don't see why you got to be far apart if you're doing the whole COVID testing and things of that nature. Why can't you still just, act and have regular performances? But I don't know. It's scary. I don't know what the future holds when it comes to filming and auditioning nowadays. But we got to adjust until we get this whole vaccine under wraps, man, and see what happens.
And like I said, this is not going away for 5 years. We have to learn to live with it.
You feel that?
Patients will be that AI technology, animation, and voiceover, and a cleaning service. And I keep telling people, those 6 things aren't going away, and that includes gamers. This was a gamer's holiday. If you're a gamer, right? If you play games, I don't. Guess what they've been waiting for? They didn't care about a lockdown or anything. As long as they could play their games, they were good, right?
Right.
Was doing okay. They're in debt, but hey, and that's the other thing. I have no debt, none. That's the thing that separates us from everybody else. Disney's in massive debt. Sony, all of them. There is no Fox.
Wait. There's no more Fox?
No, Disney brought up Fox. Remember?
I did not know that. Wait, so there's no more
Disney,
Fox?
You know why they brought them up? So they can have X-Men series.
Wow, I did not know.
Disney underneath Marvel now.
Wait, so you mean like Fox, like 20th Century Fox Television
is owned by Disney? Yes. So Fox Searchlight, those independent films that you would have done, Fox Searchlight is still around for a little bit, but it's underneath the Disney brand.
So what about the Fox lot over in LA? That's owned by Disney.
It's kind of like a morgue right now. It's been a morgue for a whole year.
That big lot is really.
Yeah. They wanted X-Men. That's all they wanted. because X-Men was Fox.
True. So they're gonna obviously Disney's gonna do something with that whole lot because that's a big lot over there.
I don't know what they're gonna do with it, but if you got no Fox anymore, Disney didn't need it. They just wanted X-Men. Now they got it.
So what about the network?
Isn't
Like Channel 11,
the
Fox
news
11.
department, news and sports were separate. They didn't touch it. They didn't want that.
Wow, I didn't know that. Wow.
Disney, ESPN is underneath the Disney brand.
Yes, I knew that.
So they didn't need Fox Sports.
Wow,
Yeah.
really?
So again, seeing a lot of this stuff coming, see how the tides were turning with everything.
Yeah.
When I think of Fox, I think of Die Hard. Who was in Die Hard? Your buddy Bruce.
Bruce Willis.
What did it ever take? Nagasaki Plaza. That was Fox. Christmas Day.
It was though. It was though. I was a fan of that movie. I was a fan of all the Die Hards too. I even teased them because they were talking about doing one last one, and the studio had it, and I guess the scripts weren't right and so forth. But I told him, I said, "Hey man, like I would definitely want to be in that last one if it ever comes to terms. Let me do that." He was like, "Texas, I got you." I'm like, man, for real, man. Don't forget, I'll be a bad guy. I'll be the second bad guy. It doesn't matter. Just put me in that sucker, So
exactly, and that's how you work it. So talk about Hard Kill.
Okay.
That come about.
So it was called Open Source, and then they changed the name to Hard Kill. That's just one of those, whoever distributed things. But Hard Kill is one where, and this one I play a very, very significant role, where I'm third lead in this one. No matter what you see out there, man, on the whoever's promoting it or whatever, Texas Battle I am the third lead in this film. Okay.
No, you are in that. I was looking at that. I'm like, wow, he's come a long way.
Yeah, man, I'm third lead, man. You know how that goes, man. Politics and all that nature and stuff. But no, don't let these new news. That's why I'm so happy I'm talking to you, because you know the game and you're a realist and you know what it is. Don't believe the hype when you see Bruce Willis, Jesse Metcalf, and these other names. That's political, and I don't know why that is, but
I know why it is. Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? I'm the third lead in this film, and you will see that when you see the movie. But it's basically a movie about this device that it can control the world, for say. And I'm one of the guys who comes in. I work for Bruce Willis, and I come in. I go, look, I got a guy that can come in and get the job done, basically. And I hire one of these, these ex-Marines, and who was played by Jesse Metcalf, and he brings his crew or whatever, and I kind of, I set it up in a way, but there's a twist to it, of course, that only me and Bruce knows. And at the end of the day, they kidnap his daughter. This guy named the Pardoner, he comes in, he wants to take this device to use it for, evil or whatever, to control the world and so forth. But I'm kind of in the middle, it's kind of one of those twist movies, man, where it's a lot of action in it, of course, a lot of gunplay, a lot of bang, bang, boom. But I like the twist in the movie. I like playing it. When I read the script, I was like, okay, who's all in it? Of course, it said Bruce, and then it said Jesse Metcalf, who I respect. And then I go, okay, well, that's what's up. Let's rock it out. It was something that I never played before. I always try to, get better with these characters and show a different side of me. And you'll see that definitely in this movie. So if you can see Texas Battle, then I'm not doing my job. But if you can see that character come out, then I'm definitely doing my job. And in this movie,
you did your job. You did.
You saw the movie already. You guys see everything.
I'm a movie whore. Everybody who knows me knows that. You send me a link, you send me stuff. If I have to badge you and badgered you, I did. I had to badger the people from from Paramount TV so I can watch Yellowstone.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, it's a lot harder for me because I'm doing so much more stuff now, but I should still be watching 2.5 movies a day. I've been doing it since 1991. Put the numbers together. I can tell you how many movies I watched each year because I still add them up by hand.
Wow.
Last year was probably my worst year. It was exactly 1,300 films.
Wait, time out, man.
That's 700 down. My best year was 22 was 2,223. Yeah, 2,230 films. I saw
Films.
100, yeah. I saw 707 on home video. I started it when I started in 1991. I never knew how many I saw. I just know I watched a lot. 1992, I started keeping track.
That's a
Because I
lot
used
of
to have to
film.
order all these films that would come in through home videos. Remember video stores that don't exist anymore?
Yes.
Buy all these things. I used to have to see every single film. I never did. Even when I did stuff for Hollywood Film Festival, I would watch the movie from beginning to end, no matter how bad it was. Even if I could get down and do sit-ups and push-ups, because you never know, and you understand this, Texas, you never know what fresh talent might be near the end. That might be that future star, and I never forgot that. Because when you're interviewing all these people at Junkets, they would always bring in people, and I just remember certain people would get up and walk away. Oh, I need a name, and I would say, you never know what this person is going to be. Plus, I always thought it was disrespectful. And you just never know. That's why I remember me interviewing you. I didn't remember the name, but I remember
Right.
the movie because I was there. I could tell you when we did it. I also know what other movies we did during that day, because we might be doing 2 or 3 junkets on one day. That's how we used to do it back in the day.
A lot of junkets too for
In
one day,
different
right?
hotels. And I would be the only black guy at the table majority of the time. And I wanted to make sure you remember, either sitting next door to the black guy, oh, I remember you, or the last name Sebastian, which is like this battle. There is no Texas, but again, hey, remember the last name Sebastian, just think of Sebastian in The Little Mermaid.
Right.
But I wanted you to know I was going to do everything to promote this film, your CD, your book, and whatever. And from Jesse Metcalf, I met Jesse when he started in the Real Desperate Housewives. I was there when it happened.
Right.
So I've seen where he come, and I couldn't be proud for all 2 of you, both of you. That says how things are changing, where you're going. Good for you.
He's a good guy. He's a real good guy. Yeah, man. He's a good guy. You should talk to him too. He's a good guy, man, for this. He's one of those that I respect because he came up from the game. It's hard. It's hard for me, brother. Sebastian, it's really hard for me sometimes, man, when, you grind out all these years and you get to a certain point and then you realize who's in certain movies because of certain politics and so forth. It kind of bugs me, man, because they don't earn it. You feel me? Like it gets thrown to them. But then you see performances and you go, okay, yeah, so how did that happen? Well, I must know why. Like we get it. But working with Bruce and Jesse, man, was great because I did most of my scenes with them, which the producers knew that I could hold my own and do that. So that felt good. But I guess, like you said, man, at the end of the day, we just hope that we do a good movie and people see it like yourself and realize the truth of what's going on, and then put it out there. But yeah, I'm definitely. This is why I'm doing, the press for this one, because I need to let people know, hey, my name's not in certain things. And I'm like, why is that? Wait a minute. No, I'm not. I'm tired of that. Especially during this time now where we're going through as African-Americans. No, I'm third lead in that movie. You'll see it. I'm glad you saw it, but other people will see it too and go, okay, why is
here's the thing. When April told me about it, the first thing I always want, give me the link. I got to see it. I was never one of those that said, there was people who just wanted to do the interviews and get the swag. I wanted to see the movie. I wanted to do the interviews, and I'm still like that to this day. And I've been doing this since 1982, but in Hollywood, I've been doing it since 1993, because from the East Coast to the West Coast, and then the West Coast is a whole different vibe, And then the old days when they would call you, say, hey, do you want to, this is a small little independent film, before Miramax started, do you want to do this? Of course.
Miramax.
You remember how many films they would have coming out a week and a month?
Yes.
All of those. And you never forgot. You want to talk to Sean Connery? He's got a movie. We're not sure how it's going to well, but it's Sean Connery. Hell, of course. Where's he now retired? The last movie that he did was Finding Forrest, the League of Gentlemen, Extraordinary Gentlemen, was a flop, but he wasn't there to promote it. So had I not been there for Finding Forrester, I remember doing that. I remember doing Russell Crowe that day, Sandra Bullock that day. That was the best interview that I remember. It was from 10 in the morning until I think we finished at 6 that night at the Four Seasons. A-lister came in one after another, and those days are gone. As you know, for you to come in and do someone in a room with strangers, it's not going to happen anymore. Those days are most likely gone. This is the new way to do publicity. So again, as I tell people, show me your numbers. I'll be more to show you 6 different numbers. 3.7 alone million out of Tennessee.
Yeah.
1 million on a YouTube. 5.8 million overall. And my co-hosts have their own individual views. That's making me happy. It's no different than what you did to do the work in all the films that you did in the TV series. It's like that.
Right.
You gotta put it in the work. And then people will find you eventually. So what do you coming up, and how do you feel about I'm wondering about this. How can action scenes be done a different way now? How do you see that?
I don't see exactly, my brother. I don't see it. I don't. We need to get to an understanding and get to a point where, if you are doing these testings every day or every other day on set or whatever the case may be, and you get cleared, we shouldn't have to sit up there and jeopardize a film or the acting and the talent, the performances just because of this whole social distancing thing. It has to be some type of understanding of that, man. Like it'll be very weird to not have that chemistry. How can you have chemistry with someone if you're not in that same space, being away? I don't see it happening, especially in action films, because action films, you have to be there in the moment. You have to be close, whether you're doing a fight scene or what have you. These things are going to have to be addressed. So I don't see it going very well if they're trying to keep this whole let's stay apart type thing. Let's try to keep it safe, because then you're going to lose a lot of performances, and especially when it comes to the action sequences. Right now, after this movie drops, hopefully, because of COVID, I was in a pre-production stage for another movie. It was a war movie, tank movie, actually, based off a true story. And Simon West is on board. To my knowledge, still he's directing it. I hope that they bring that back to light. I've heard that it's just been on pause, but they still want to bring it together. So let's hope that goes. But as of right now, man, still, you just have the auditioning. A lot of the things I've been going out for self-tapes and so forth, and having these private meetings where it's just one-on-one, because the casting thing has changed also. So a lot of this, and if you do go meet someone, it's just you by yourself with the other producer or director, and you just chop it up. We'll see. A lot of things are not shooting until end of September, October, January. You know what I mean? So it's really up in the air right now, man. I don't know how things are going to look. You surprised me. You said 5 years, and I was hoping. I said, "Damn," he said 5 years, and he's already been writing.
No, I'm down on the record for this. I've been saying this all along. Anytime I say something, believe it's pretty much set in stone. You have to be able to adjust, adapt, and it's always changed now. If you can follow those 3 things, you'll be okay, because your life depends on it, and I tell people we're recession-proof, and I'm stock-proof. We still got a stock market crash coming. It's coming. I don't have to be concerned about that. I'm not in any debt. We will have our own property. We have stuff that April knows about. I'm sure she'll tell you eventually how we have everything set up to be sustainable, environmentally friendly, and the first test model for net zero. And here's another thing I would ask you, because I've asked my fellow movie critics this, and friends and fans. Would you go to the movie theaters to see a movie?
Me, yes, but that's me because I love movies. But I would. I mean, I have I've been to certain other places where they have movie theaters where they block off seats. So they have 2 seats available, then they block off 2, and then they have another 2 seats and so forth. I've been to a couple movie theaters already. But that's just me. I just love going to the movies. I love, like you, I mean, you watch a lot of dang movies. I haven't watched as many movies as you have, but I try my best to get out there and at least see, maybe 1 or 2 movies a week. I like to be in the movie theater. But
what was the theater that you went to? Where, in what state was it in?
Puerto Rico. They're open in Puerto Rico. Yeah, the Caribbean.
See, and that would be interesting, because I think that would be different there. And Puerto Rico's gone through a lot of stuff. Matter of fact, our restroom kids have been in Puerto Rico to help after catastrophes and stuff like that. And
Right.
next time you see April, ask her about the restroom kit, because you travel a lot, go to Puerto Rico.
I do.
Have them send you some there, because the people of that need those things like that. They need.
Oh, okay. Please, please. Yes.
That. That's important. But also because all the movies are delayed until next year now.
Correct.
Christopher Nolan can't get his Tenet out. I'm like, you know what? Just push it to next year. You have no choice, because I've been reaching out to Regal Theater since 2015. Where are they? Tennessee. Where's my numbers out of Tennessee? 3.7 million views a day and counting. And I'm wanting to help them, because I knew, like I said, I knew it was coming. They're in desperate straits. So isn't AMC Theaters. So isn't my beloved Limley Theaters, which has 9 theaters, the longest and oldest family-operated movie chain. Bob and Greg Limley. Think of Universal Studios, Universal City. Their grandfather started that. Paul Limley. Think about that.
I heard him. Yeah, I've been there before. Yeah.
Great documentary called Limley, on Carl Limley, on how all of that started. He was one of the first moguls to let a female direct films back in the 30s, 40s. This is why I love documentaries. But heading back to stuff like that, knowing that everything is pushed, that told me something. I knew it was going to happen. You just had to wait for the official word. I knew the cruise ships are going to stop. I had to, because I had been working on them for 2 years. We're all stranded, So I had been reaching out to these companies way ahead, and they're like, "Well, who's this guy calling? Why does he want to help us?" No one calls to want to help, because I saw it coming. Look where they are now. Look where I am now. And me and my team, I couldn't be happier. So my job is to help get publicity for those people, help promote those smaller business, because your life is depending on it, and your company is depending on it.
Absolutely.
Talk about your charity. Your charity is important. Talk about how you started that because we got about 3 minutes. Talk about that.
It is important to me, man. Thank you for asking, man. The Texas Battle Foundation, I founded that in 2015. And it was because I was out there doing a show called Safe. We was out there for 5.5 months. And then I come across these kids, man. I was at lunch at Camps Bay. Camps Bay is like Malibu out there. And they started dancing, man. These kids started dancing. And then I asked the lady, what were they dancing for? And she said they were dancing for techies, which were shoes. And I looked down at their feet and they needed shoes. And I'm like, you know what? Instead of me giving them money, I'm just going to take them to the mall. So we went. I got a hotel van. We all went to the mall. I bought them all shoes. And then after that, I wanted to know where they stayed. And that was the first time, man, that I actually went to a township. And it was a township of Langa. And I just fell in love with it, man. You really opens up your eyes when you see different countries and how they live and how they survive. And I felt that I had to do something. So I said, you know what? I was helping individually at first. And I said, I got to do more than this. So I fell in love with Cape Town, shooting out there and being involved in that. So then I said, you know what, let me open up MPO, the Texas Battle Foundation. And then it took off from there. So now we're putting kids in school, new schools. We're giving them, new uniforms, being able to supply them with fresh water, being able to pay for, tuitions and school fees and so forth, and food vouchers and things. So I'm proud where it's at, but it could be going even better, especially right now during this pandemic. There's a lot of things that they're not getting. So we have to be able to step in and help them in that nature. But yeah, it's something that's close to my heart, heavily involved in. I'm very hands-on. I'm not one of those people that just the money guy. No, like when people donate, they see where it's going. And we take it right there. If you haven't been to South Africa, Cape Town, man, hey, man, I'd send you a ticket. You come on out, man, and you gotta stay for at least a week. You can't stay,
I like to travel. I've always told people, any black male who travels, you see the world differently. I've been to 7 states. I've been to 42 states and 27 countries. So I've been traveling all alone, pretty much by myself. So I'm what that's like, because one, traveling by yourself is you've done some horror films, so yeah, you know what that's like. But traveling by yourself, some people are asking, "What are you doing?" When I first went to Australia, I loved that country. I love Canada. I love the UK. So I've had fun. But it's one of the things you learn a whole great deal, and then you come back into the US with a whole different mindset.
A whole different mindset, right? A whole different mindset. So it's good that I went out there, because I do think I look at things different since then. I really do. But I'm proud of it, man. This has been great, man. So you saw it already. I'm glad you saw it. I'm glad.
Well, here's the thing. I asked April for it, and then 3 days later, the publicist sent me a breakdown of it, and I'm like, oh, this is that movie. So
Right.
I was to interview, I think, either the director or the main villain. And I go, oh,
Matt's the
we
director.
do this
The
then.
main villain. Right.
So that's why I like doing these things like this. And he's a smaller PR person. And I look at it this way. A movie is a movie. You don't know what it is until you watch it. But everybody deserves that opportunity to have that press, whether they're a big name star or someone starting out. That's how I've always looked at that.
Absolutely. So we're doing good, man. We got the first. Well, I don't know if it's the first, but we're doing a drive-in premiere August 28th. I'm just trying to find a location when they call me and let me know where that's about, and we're going to drive down the red carpet.
I think that's great.
Right? Yeah. I'll make sure once I get word of that you know about that, because you never know. You want to do a drive.
Please do, because here's the thing. One of my favorite movies was Enter the Dragon. I saw it at a drive-in.
Oh, Enter the Dragon. Right.
So imagine that. That's how I saw Enter the Dragon. That's what made me want to be a martial art, obviously.
Really?
Yeah.
They were going to bring that
drive-in
back.
theater to see Enter the Dragon.
Right. They were going to bring. Did they make a remake of that, or they're going to try to still make a remake?
They still want to try to do that.
That's tough. It has to be done right.
It is very.
Or just leave it alone.
Yeah.
But we'll see how that goes.
And I talk to a lot of the martial artists on doing things like that. It's very tough to do that. I would only see the guy from the Raid. He started in the Raid 1 and Raid 2, who could probably do it, but he's Vietnamese, I believe he is. But he's very good. He's the only person I could see it do it. Unless you use a Donnie Chen, but he's older,
Yeah, he's older. So you got to get a young guy for that.
Yeah. Last question. Give the fans your social media sites, how to reach out to you and your charity.
Hey, this is Texas Battle, and I got a movie coming out August 28th called Hard to Kill. You can find me on IG at Texas1Battle. On Facebook, of course, I'm only Texas Battle, so just type in Texas Battle, you'll see me there. And then the foundation is www.texasbattlefoundation.org. Check it out. We're doing good things over there. I'm proud of it. And don't forget to go stream that movie when it come out. Appreciate you. Thank you.
And for Texas Battle, the only person who's got that name in the world, I'm absolutely sure of it. Go on his social media sites, check out that. Don't forget when you get a chance, I will keep you up to date of where you can find Hard Kill, whether it's on demand or anything like that. Definitely going to the drive-in theater. That'll be fun to see that. What we're going to have to do for a while until things are straightened out. Also, for movie reviews and more, womenontv.tv, worldwide TV internet, network, and ITT47 out of Franklin, Tennessee. If you see someone without a smile, please give them one of yours because the world needs it. I'm Brian Sebastian. We will see you next week.